Chelsea fans will be pleased to know that Nicolas Jackson did not leave on bad terms. Despite spending the entire month of August trying to force a move away from Stamford Bridge, with the player even going on strike in an attempt to make it happen, Jackson revealed that he felt a little sad to leave Chelsea on deadline day. Now, this is not the drama you might think. Jackson is signed for one of the biggest clubs in the world, and Bayern Munich. He gets to play in a new league and meet great teammates, so why the sadness? Well, as he explained to Tuttosport, he was sad to leave Chelsea and his teammates and the fans. And who could blame him? After all, he won the Conference League and the Club World Cup with the Blues and has been at the club since 2022. It was only when Delap got injured at the last minute that Chelsea decided to recall Marc Guiu instead. And by then, Jackson was already in Munich, so the deal went through despite Jackson's best efforts to make it happen. And while he's excited about the move, he admitted that he'll miss Chelsea. Just in, Arsenal dealt a major blow as it's reported that defender William Saliba will be out for 3 to 4 weeks after suffering an ankle injury. The severity of the injury was evident when Saliba, after trying to warm up, was forced off the pitch just minutes into the Premier League clash against Liverpool. And it's now been confirmed by manager Mikel Arteta that Saliba will be out for 3 to 4 weeks. As a result, Saliba has been withdrawn from the French national team squad and will miss the upcoming international break. This is a huge loss for Arsenal as they enter a very demanding part of the season with important Champions League fixtures and decisive Premier League matches coming up. And to make matters worse, Saliba, who has been one of Arsenal's most consistent defenders this season, will now be out for at least a month, which means that the Gunners will have to rely on their other defensive options. And that's not good news for Arsenal. Is this the end of Manchester United's interest in signing a new striker this summer? They've already spent a total of around 85 million euros to bring in Benjamin Sesko from RB Leipzig. But so far, the 21-year-old has only featured in 4 games, 3 as a substitute and once as a starter in the League Cup, but has yet to make an impact. Speaking to reporters, Manchester United legend Louis Saha expressed his concern over the situation. He said, "I'm a bit worried because when you look at the team, we don't have a creative midfielder who can unlock the opposition and give that link-up play for him to thrive. I don't see any link players in the team. If you look at the way they play, there's no link between the midfield and the strikers. That's why he's struggling." Despite this, Saha remains optimistic about the young striker's future at Old Trafford. He continued, "He's tall, good in the air, technically sound, everything is there. I'm confident he will get his chance and score goals." Do you agree with Saha's assessment? And do you think that Manchester United should bring in another striker before the transfer window closes? Let me know your thoughts. The summer of 2026 is shaping up to be an exciting one for Manchester United. After Liverpool smashed the Premier League transfer record by signing Alexander Isak for £125 million in 2025, the Red Devils are now preparing to go even higher. According to reports, their main target is Brighton's young defensive midfielder, Carlos Baleba. The 18-year-old has impressed with his strength, vision, and ability to control the midfield. And United are ready to offer £130 million for him, which would be a British record transfer fee. It's no secret that United have been trying to sign Baleba since last summer, but they were unsuccessful because they had just spent over £200 million on attacking signings like Matheus Cunha, Benjamin Sesko, and Brian Mbeumo. With midfield reinforcements being a top priority this time around, United are making a big push for Baleba and are confident that they can get the deal done. If successful, this move would underline Manchester United's determination to rebuild under their current project and strengthen the squad for the future challenges in the Premier League and the Champions League. This transfer saga is one of the most dramatic in recent times. It involved a player named Marc Guehi, who was the captain of Crystal Palace. On deadline day, his move to Liverpool collapsed because Palace failed to bring in a replacement. Despite completing his medical and agreeing personal terms with Liverpool, the 24-year-old defender is now reportedly considering giving up the captain's armband and will not be renewing his contract, which expires in 2026. The fallout from the failed transfer saga has left Guehi frustrated. And according to reports, both Barcelona and Real Madrid are keeping tabs on his situation as they see him as a top defensive reinforcement and are willing to offer a reasonable price, especially if Palace are forced to sell before he leaves for free. With growing uncertainty around his future and the fact that he's now at the center of a transfer battle, it remains to be seen whether Guki will stay at Crystal Palace or if he will eventually make the switch to La Liga. Andre Santos, the 20-year-old Chelsea midfielder, has revealed that he turned down a transfer this summer despite interest from rivals Arsenal and a massive bid from Saudi Arabia. The player's agent even admitted that they had a verbal agreement with the Saudis for a £74 million transfer. But Santos decided to reject the move as he wants to play in the Premier League and eventually for the Brazil national team in the World Cup. He feels that staying at Chelsea and proving himself there will be the best way to achieve that dream. New Chelsea manager Enzo Maresca also wants to keep hold of the youngster as he is a very versatile player who can cover multiple positions in midfield. He's a box-to-box midfielder who can also play as a number 10 and is comfortable on the ball. Alongside the likes of Enzo Fernandez and Moises Caicedo, Santos can expect to play a lot of minutes this season. And he did impress during the Club World Cup, helping them reach the final. With bids reaching £59.5 million, it's clear that Santos is not for sale, and he's determined to fight for his place at Chelsea and in the Brazilian national team under Carlo Ancelotti. Chelsea once again missed out on a striker this summer. And as we all know, the story goes that Chelsea were interested in signing Manchester United's forward Danny Welbeck, who's now 34 years old. Reports reveal that he was close to returning to Stamford Bridge, but you know what? Chelsea never made an official move for him, and the transfer collapsed. And this is a story that's repeated itself at Chelsea time and time again. Years ago, Frank Lampard pushed the club to sign Sergio Aguero, but his request was ignored. Aguero went on to join Manchester City and become one of the Premier League's greatest strikers. Same story with Declan Rice, a former Chelsea Academy player who Lampard once saw as a future captain. Rice was allowed to leave, and he went on to join Arsenal, where he blossomed into one of England's most valuable midfielders. And Welbeck's situation is just the latest example of Chelsea's inability to get it right to get the deal over the line when they have the chance only to watch the player go on and succeed elsewhere while their rivals get strengthened. Former Manchester United defender Phil Jones has urged the club not to sack manager Ruben Amorim. Despite the team's poor start to the 2025-26 season, which has seen them win just one game out of 4, Jones believes that Amorim deserves more time. Speaking to 5UK, Jones said he's taken over a team that isn't his. The squad isn't built for his philosophy of playing football. And when you're trying to rebuild a team and trying to get them to play a certain way, it takes time. Jones, who won 3 Premier League titles and a Champions League during his time at United, recognizes that rebuilding a team in this manner is a heavy job. He said, it's not just about coming in and changing things. You have to be patient and give him time to implement his ideas. The former defender also spoke about Amorim's character, describing him as blunt, but also genuine and honest. He believes that United's board should not sack Amorim based on temporary poor results. Instead, they should allow him to implement his long-term vision and prove his worth as a manager at Old Trafford.